The Book of Nigeria. The Father Speaks. Thursday, 16 April 2020, 14:30. If you know the enemy that fights you, you'll know how to defend yourself. If a baby is crying and you breastfeed him, yet he keeps crying, that means something is wrong with him. Maybe he's feeling a headache or has any pain, you don't even know. That's what's going on in the life of everybody right now. You don't know how this plague came, and you don't know who's responsible for it. But somebody owns the earth who revealed himself to millions of people. If I tell you who I am, and you don't believe me, how else do you want me to prove it to you? You're eating inside sin, you're sleeping inside sin, yet, you'll not allow me to rest with your tears. Did I create you and sorrow together? Did I create you and tears together? How come all your life is full of sorrow and tears every day? If I should allow this plague to continue for 6 months, nobody will know the difference between a celebrity and a common person anymore. If the source of your money is locked, where will you make your living? All of you think you're wise. I told you before that I will push all of you to the wall until you have nowhere to go and I'll strike you. Who owns the earth? Am I not the one? If you don't have peace, can you speak nonsense from your mouth? I don't even know who is up there, maybe it's human being or animal, I don't even know, maybe it's a man or woman, I don't even know. I am listening and watching every word that comes out of your mouth every day. All of you carry my word in your hand, and you know everything that's written inside it. I did what I did in the time of old so that people like you could read it and know how to channel your feet. But what do? You're living without my fear. If you don't have my fear, how will you train your children to have my fear? Tell me. I cannot change everything I've programmed because of you. I cannot reprogram it because I have stubborn children. This earth alone is the only place you can appear physically, live and go back to wherever you come from. Heaven is spiritual. You neither sow nor reap. That's how I made it, and it's irreversible. You cannot change my handwork. You don't go to heaven anymore because of your dirtiness. If you committed a sin and you neither go to heaven nor hellfire, what happens to you and your sin? Somebody will give birth to you again. What happens to your sin? You will also come back with it again. Every word I speak will never return to me empty. There's nowhere to bury the spirit of sin. You came through a generation here, and whenever you come back again, you'll also pass through the same generation. Therefore, your sin will come back with you again. Some people came to this earth before, and they knew they were here before. They were heroes. The enemy didn't allow them to live, they cut them off. Why did they still have the memory of coming here before? Because they neither went to heaven nor hellfire. The spirit of holiness in them made them understand everything. Many people died an untimely death because of the enemies. They didn't have the time to fulfill their destiny. They had to come back again. Why will a woman give birth to a baby, and when he grows, the only word that comes out of his mouth is pure evil? Why? Because that's what he knew when he came to this earth before. When he died as evil, he came back as such. I want to kill, I want to burn everybody alive. From where did you get that kind of a child? That's the kind of children Satan brings to this earth every day. Even right there inside the church. You're breeding thieves and armed robbers, fornicators and adulterers inside the church. You cannot correct your children. If anybody speaks to correct them, you'll gather against him or her in the spiritual realm because you have the spirit of witchcraft. Yet, you claim you're a Christian. All of you are there in the church, rendering foolish service that goes nowhere. Who will reward you for such service? Who will reward you? Do you know me? If you know me, you'll wash your hands clean. Every time you gather together, my angels would come down with different packages of blessing. If you close your hands, how can you receive from them? Your hands are full of sin, yet, you're crying and praying for blessing. Which hand are you going to use to collect it? All of you would go back home just as you came. My foolish and stupid servants are there to teach you how to drop everything you hold in your hands. Some of you, the very moment you receive your salary, you'll remove your pastor's portion before you even remember your wife and children. Your wife is quarreling with you every time because you fail to give her money. If you're quarreling because of your own salary, tell me which blessing will come your way. Because of the way my servants speak about money every time, you cannot sleep on your bed until you cough out the money you don't even have. Is that what serving me is all about? Is that what heaven is all about? This is the time you'll know who a true Christian is. When the plague visits you, the measure of the Spirit of holiness in you will determine your fate. If the percentage of holiness in you is 70 upward, then you're on a safe side. But if it's below 70, all of you will see and hear what will happen. It's happening in other nations, and all of you open your mouth speaking nonsense. You will see it now. Those who claim to be Christians who serve other gods will know now. You're using human beings like you to do rituals. The whole world will now know the kind of Christians you are. If it touches Nigeria, it will touch the whole of Africa. All of you have provoked me to anger. As my servant, I expect you to speak my word with boldness even to the point of death. This is the time people should know the kind of God that called you. How do you listen to the news every day? Isn't it through your television? How many of you have gone to the television station and let the whole world know that your Father is in action? But all of you are using your brain to speak, giving fake and wrong prophecy everywhere. Am I not the same God that destroyed my children in the time of old? I am not a wicked father. All of you are wicked children. You're not even sure what's happening in the world. You don't know who is responsible. This is clear evidence that you're not working for me. You're working for yourself. All of you are working for yourself. Why? Because my spirit inside you is dead. If you chew a piece of food and put it into the mouth of a child, will you help him swallow it as well? The measure of the Holy Spirit in you will clue you what's happening around you. Why should the Holy Spirit clue you when you're living your heaven on earth already? You only have what you bought. You use every goodie of this earth to surround yourself. You laid bad example everywhere for my children to follow. This is the time when the whole world will see your shame. Amid calamity and disaster, you're preaching blessing. Tell the spirit of death not to take your church members away whenever he comes. The only thing you know how to do is to tax my children for money. All of you turned yourself to a taskmaster like the Pharaoh of Egypt. You don't care how they feel. As long your wife and children are okay, you don't care anymore. What about the children I asked you to bring to heaven? All of you will see my hand shortly. As a Christian, why should you depend on my servant? The very moment you gave your life to my Son, my word, the Bible is there for you to read and apply to your life. Because you don't know your right from your left, therefore, they're using your glory to enrich their pocket. They have taken heaven away from you already. Based on my wisdom in you, you should be able to judge either my servant is speaking with my mouth or the mouth of demons. How? Because any word that proceeds out of my mouth is about holiness, and holiness is against sin. When all of them make you feel comfortable in sin, how can you go to heaven? That means both you and them will miss heaven.